popping? Can you hear me?
Yo, what's up with it, Lucario?
Chilling. What's going on with you?
Just rising grind, just up early in the morning, doing the thing I need to do. What's up with you,
I'm
man?
chilling, man. Chilling, just enjoying life. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Good.
the only way to do it. That's the only way to go.
That's a fact.
Now, listen, but without further ado, so this is someone that I know, if the guest that y'all know that I have right now, and if you don't know, I'm going to introduce a little bit about him before he introduces himself. This is most known for his thought-provoking quotes, the things that he says, dating coach, philosophies, and the way he moves into life, and putting his opinion, which is a fact, out into the world and people responding to it. This is someone that I was watching beforehand, like years ago, and who was doing monumental things and was inspiring the youth. And now we get to sit down and have a conversation with you. So without further ado, for those who don't know and those who do know, tell them who you are, man.
Yeah, what's up? So, appreciate you having me on here, man. For those who don't know, my name is Mr. Lucario. They call me the bad boy of the dating game. So I teach men and women how to get exactly what they want out of their dating life by taking a realistic approach and just being real about themselves and, making things happen in that direction. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Fuck. I wish I had the buttons, you know what I mean, to that shit go hard, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But see that now that leads to my next point, because what we're gonna do is for evolutionary talks, they said they can't hear. Can you hear me fine?
I can hear you. I can hear you perfect.
Man, but hey, buddy, you just know how to get a new phone.
Because I think everybody else can hear.
Yeah. Facts. All right, so what I like to do for evolutionary talks, we just, I like to see what the spark is for you. So when you came to that point of the realistic, that realistic approach when getting women and everything in the dating game, when did that become a thing for you? Like, when did that begin to be like, I can do what the fuck I want?
Yeah, well, the thing is, what happens with most people is they go through life, right, when it comes to dating, and they're getting information based on what mainstream media is telling them, the information based even on like what their parents are telling them and all these different things. And so what most people do is that they get conditioned by society and what society is telling them instead of actually looking at themselves and who they are to figure themselves out to know exactly what they want and then in order to get what they want. So you can't get what you want unless you know what you want. So for me, what happened was that when I was younger, I was, going out here talking to all these different girls. But what I noticed was that I would get girls here and there, but it would be, I felt like I was doing too much. I felt like I was like I had to, be something I'm not. I had to like put on an act. I had to be extra and, exert all this energy. And so what I realized was that even though I was getting the girls, I was frustrated and I was depleted because I'm like doing all this extra stuff I don't need to. So then when I, said, what, I'm gonna just like chill and just do me. And what I noticed was that I was still able to attract women without doing all the extra things. So then I noticed that women were just liking me for me. I didn't have to pretend or act like this or talk about stuff I don't want to talk about, go places I don't want to go. You know what I'm saying? And I just was like, hey, either they gonna fuck with me or not. And that's that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. There's so many fucking stories. We could talk about that part. But when you talk about conditioning for society, where did that come about for you? Like, I know, because it could be your upbringing, it could be your friends, it could be whatever the case is, jobs that trying to mold you into the things. Because that's the biggest thing in this world right now, is that people are conditioned by society. People are scared to go outside of the box of who they are. So when it comes to the conditions of society, what did you view that you were conditioned by and that's happening right now?
Yeah, I would say just conditioned by feeling like who I am isn't enough. So I got to get this type of clothes. You know what I'm saying? I have to look this way. I have to, and so you're conditioned to feel like if you don't do these things, then you're going to be the outcast or outside of the situation. Being outside of the situation is the scariest thing. So they condition you to think that being on the outside is a scary thing. But the funny part is that we're still all connected anyway, because that's just how the universe works. But you being on the outside of what society is saying is good, because all it's showing you is that you're actually just being yourself. Because if you're being yourself, you stand out, which is going to make you be on the outside anyway. but they try to condition you to think if you're being yourself, you're going to be outcasted, and then that's the scary thing for most people. So most people go with the flow and do what everybody else is doing because they don't want to stand alone. Because standing alone is scary for most people because they're conditioned to think alone is like, death. It's not a good thing. That's how they.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And the best part about it is that it's all in your mind. Like this is all me. Like this is all like a thought that I took in. This is all I'm allowing this to be bigger than what it's supposed to be. And that's something a lot of people don't realize, that being that outcast and everything. So, that brings us to the next point. Cause it was a live I remember you were speaking on. It was it's one of my favorites because I recognize that I just didn't have the words to say, is that in order if there's love, there's hate. You can't have one thing without the other. Like if you're saying you get hella bitches, you're also saying you get hella rejections, basically. You know what I mean?
Right.
When did you see that part? Because that always because now it's in my life right now, I'm seeing a lot more manifesting in the physical realm. But when did you see that and be like, okay, like this is happening in my life, and how did you keep going with it? Because most people see that and then they conform. When did you still go and be like, I'm gonna continue to be a trailblazer, fuck you?
Right. Well, the thing people gotta understand is that everything is connected. So most of the times, like you're talking about rejection, right? Like in order for you to attract women, you also have to get rejected. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts, because that's part of the same coin. You know what I mean? So the thing is that if you're approaching women and talking to women and interacting with women, there are going to be some women who aren't interested, which means you're going to get rejected. But on the flip side, there are going to be women who are interested, so they're going to be into the situation. So the problem is most people want the women that want them to want them, but they don't actually want to have to deal with the women who don't want them. And it's impossible because what happens is that you need both. And so that's why I tell them, don't be scared of rejection, because rejection is directly tied to you actually getting with the girl. You see what I'm saying? Getting with women. You can't have one without the other. So the problem is that people are trying to avoid the other side, which is directly connected to the side they want. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, in order to win, you have to acknowledge losing. So that means that on your pursuit of winning, right, there's a chance you could lose. But the thing is, you have to accept that you can lose in order to win, because there's no way to win unless you accept losing. So the problem is that people are trying to win and ignore losing. It's impossible. So you have to accept both. So when you accept both, what you do is you almost have an appreciation for losing, because if you don't appreciate losing, then you can't enjoy winning. You see what I'm saying? So that's how.
But Lucario, I only want to win. I only want to win. I don't want to lose. What do you got to say? But what do you got to say to that point, though, for those who have that, who are stuck in their own way?
Right. Well, a lot of that is connected to their ego. So the reason why they want to win and they're scared of losing is because they look at winning as validation for their identity. Meaning they look at winning as, if I win, then that means I'm special. If I win, then that means I'm somebody. But the reason why they think that is because they think they're nobody in the first place. They think that they're nowhere in the first place. Right. So they need to win, or they feel they have to win in order to feel validated. Versus, right, just understanding that there's winning and there's losing, and understanding that none of those things are going to make you any better or worse, because you are who you are. You're already valuable, so you don't need those outcomes to dictate your value, and that's the problem. So a lot of times when guys are scared of rejection, is because they're looking at rejection or a woman accepting them as a test of their value. But if you understand that you're valuable already, you don't need the woman to say yes to you. You don't need any of it. That's the part that a lot of people don't understand. And that's why most people never actually get what they want, because what they want is on the other side of the fear that they're trying to avoid. So they're like, oh, I don't want to get rejected. I want her to say no. I don't want her to flake on me. Okay, well, the thing is that what you want is on the other side of that. You have to go through that to get to the girls who want you, to get to the girls who don't flake. So that's how it works.
So, okay, so what you're saying is that you need to go towards the fear. Like you need to go towards I'm losing, kind of.
Yes.
Not I'm losing, but I need to go towards losing.
Right. You got it, because you got to go toward. You're basically going towards all of it.
That's
So
it.
it's like you can't get to the thing unless you accept the whole thing. You see what I'm saying?
I'm about to end this live right now. Y'all don't need to see anymore. Nah, I'm playing. That's because that's that, and that's it. Because just in okay. So everything I want to tie into a lot. I have many more things I want to say, but because I'm getting to this point, right? Because when you talk about, you're a dating coach, so you talk about women, you talk about all these things, getting what the fuck you want in this world, and that's amazing. But I wanna speak on a certain aspect is that even the same philosophy goes into life because I think what you're doing is taking life by the hands and saying, life is mine. I'm gonna do this shit my fucking way, and I can do what the fuck I want. So I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna approach these women, and they may not fuck with me, but who gives a fuck what they want? It's about what I want and to lose and everything. And I think that's one of the most important things is to see that because a lot of guys they will see oh yeah, they see these guys going after women, but on the other side, like you said, what's connected is that they don't see those are the same guys that still get quote unquote rejected by a woman at the same time. And that applies in life. I think, and I want your opinion on this too, is that, how a guy gets a woman is how a guy can get something out in his life. Just like,
yeah. Well, the thing is, right. Well, the thing is like I said earlier, is that all of it is connected, everything. So what guys do is they're having trouble with women, right? They try to renounce their desire for women. So they're like, you know what, man, fuck all that. I'm just focusing on me. I'm focusing on my purpose, all that other stuff. But it's directly tied to it. It's almost like saying, forget my legs. I'm gonna just focus on my hands and my feet and my head. Like it's like, bro, it's connected to everything. So what a lot of guys do is because they have issues with dating and relationships, right? They try to renounce it and say, I don't care.
yes,
it's a way to cope with the fact that they're not able to make things happen in the way they want it to happen in that part of their life. But the issue is though is that one of the reasons why they're not able to make things happen in that part of their life is because within that part of their life, they refuse to deal with everything that comes along with that. So a lot of times, for example, if they're having trouble dealing with women, or let's say women are flaking on them or playing them or whatever, they don't ever want to say, okay, so what am I doing to create these situations, and what can I do to get to the other side of the situation? Because the other side of the situation is always there. Every time when a guy complains about women this and that, and women do this and they act this way, every complaint he has, there's also an opposite to that complaint. So he's like, oh, these women, they're just with me for my money. They don't care about me. On the other side of that is there's women who care about you and who don't give a shit about your money. Right? The problem is that they don't actually take the time to get to that place. And unfortunately, what happens is that this is why, a lot of guys don't have game. So when they don't have game, they don't get to that place, or it's very hard for them to get to that place. So they stay in a cycle of being on the loser side. You see what I'm saying? So you can get in a situation where you're constantly on this wheel of the loser side. And then on the flip side, you can get into a situation where you're constantly on the winner side. You see what I'm saying? But it takes a mindset shift, and it takes for you to take certain action to get to that side. You see what I mean? So that's the issue with a lot of guys. But also, no matter what side you're on, understand that you're still connected to the other side. So even if you're winning, right?
yes,
You still got to understand that there's times where shit may not go your way. And even if you're losing, there's times where shit might go your way. You see what I'm saying? So, but that's the reminder to understand that it's all connected, because what happens is you don't ever want to get into a situation where you forget that it's connected to everything. Because once you forget that you're connected to everything, that's when you get comfortable. And I remember there was a guy I used to work with years ago, and I never forgot when he said this. He said to me, and I don't even remember the context of the conversation, but I remember exactly these words. He said, comfortability is dangerous. And I was like, that always stuck with me. Always stuck with me. And so when I look at it as comfortability in all aspects. Because what happens is the reason why it's dangerous is because when you get comfortable, you forget that it's all connected. And when you forget it's all connected, you start to get in your ego and you start, oh, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? And the thing is, the reason why it had to happen to you is because we're all connected. So for example, if you're sick, if you're cold, if you're in bed sick, you're like, damn, why did I have to get sick? You know why you had to get sick? Because somebody had to get sick. So it's your turn now to get sick. That's why. And it's everything. So you don't need to feel sorry for yourself. Just be like, yo, this is my turn to get sick, and then it's gonna be my turn to feel healthy again. You see what I'm saying? It's all connected to the sick. But see, when you get comfortable, you forget that because you're so comfortable being healthy that you're like, shit, now that I'm sick, now it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened.
The biggest thing in the world.
Right. Same thing if you're with a woman, you got comfortable being with her. Now that she want to break up with you, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. You got comfortable.
I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it reminds me of the Kabbalion. It's about a couple laws of the universe, because that's what I connect with you with, because in the dating game, what you speak on the dating game, it's not just dating. Like, it is, but it's so much more deeper than that. But and it's so simple though at the same time, because it has to do with the universe and the laws at play. So when you were talking about, it reminded me of this law called the law of neutralization. Basically, to say, into simplest terms, is that if I drink a lot, I will get a big ass hangover, because what you do a lot of is what you're gonna get out of. There's a reaction to every fucking action that you do. So when you were speaking about, okay, I get too comfortable, you're also, when that one thing happens, you get too, because I think you need to, because okay, it's like having a level-headed, balanced mindset, still being like, I'm the shit, but it's like, as you climb up, as you're doing things, you still got to remind yourself and be there that, okay, this can be taken. The empire that you built 30 years can be taken away in 30 seconds, just by anything or whatever the fuck is going on.
That's a fact.
And I swear to God, and it's crazy, and it's not crazy, but it's simple, and that's why these things happen, in the dating game and life and everything. And I'm gonna even tie this into this part, because I remember this one live, because I was just done listening to the audiobook of it. Was you were speaking about the game of life and how to play, because I mean, essentially, this is what this all is. I mean, life is all about how you make it and how you move. And you said something before that stuck me as well, because when you talk about something that stuck with you, I remember this one guy when I was working, I was like 15. He was like, the way to kill America is to, like, take off all their internet, and that stuck with me. And I'm like, fuck, he just created apocalypse. But to talk about how this ties together, you said something that was monumental, and it was very like, it was like a self-aware, bigger picture shit. Was that I got it written down, give me 1 second, y'all. The main character, you're the main character, but you're aware of the story. You're aware that there are side characters. And how did you, like, when did you see that point though? Because a lot of people want to be the main character. They're like, man, I'm motherfucking the main, I'm the main character. They don't realize that there are other people who are the main characters, and they're aware of the story. So when did you see that perspective, and how did you move with it?
Well, the thing is that, again, when you understand like how all of it is connected, the main character is the main character because there's characters who aren't the main character. So the reason why you're the main is because the other people aren't. But the thing is that you're the main character. You're the main character in your story, but at the same time, the other character, in order for you to be relevant, and in order for them to be relevant, they need you. This is why, a lot of times when, I see times on the Manosphere videos and stuff like that, when they try to talk about like, well, as a man, you have to build your value, and you're not valuable enough unless you have money and this and that. The problem with that is that what they're not realizing is that you are valuable literally because you exist. Because if you were not valuable, you wouldn't exist. You see what I'm saying? The fact that you exist, that means that you're needed in the situation, or else you wouldn't. You see what I'm saying? So all of the parts are there to it's like almost like if you was to open up your iPhone
Yes.
and you look at all the fucking screws and all of the motherboard or whatever it is, every part of your iPhone is valuable in order for your iPhone to work. You
Yes.
see what I'm saying? So it's like if I was to go into my iPhone and let's say all of the parts were personal, like, you know, personified or personalized, and then the screen is like, well, I don't matter. No, the screen matters because we need the screen of the iPhone. We need the back of the iPhone. Buttons. Everything that is in the iPhone is necessary for it to work. Same thing with with life. Same thing with the universe. Every
My
part,
God.
every little thing is valuable and important. That's why you're here.
Yes.
So the idea that you have to do something in order to be valuable is nonsense. That's why they call it human beings, not human doings. You just have to be.
Wow.
It's already in the phrase. You know what I'm saying? It's in I don't understand why people don't. It's like right in front of you. It's in the phrase. Human being. Just be. Be yourself. Be who you are. It's already there. You don't have to. So the problem is this. You can do things in life because you do activities, you have fun, you enjoy experiences, and all these other things. The issue is that people are doing things to try to become valuable.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like you're already. It's almost like you know when a person says they're like, "Yo, you know, I can't find my glasses." The glasses will be like right here on their head.
Yeah.
And it's already there. It's on their head. It's
The whole
already
time.
there. Like they're looking for the key in the pocket. It's already there. The problem is that if you don't recognize it, you're always going to be chasing and trying to find what's already there. And then what you need to do is recognize it's already there. Then you'll stop trying to look for it in things and in action. And so that's the problem with a lot of people, especially with dating. When people are dating and in relationships and stuff, the reason why people don't enjoy relationships is because they're constantly chasing something to fill a void so that they get the valuable in the relationship. That's why, you know, you'll hear women say, well, where is this going and what does this mean? Because they need the label of girlfriend, wife, whatever, in order to fill themselves. That, you know, a guy needs to, he wants a woman to respect, to respond to him a certain way so that he feels like a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so instead of people understanding that the value is already there, right? They're searching for it in the relationship, and then the crazy part is they never get to enjoy the relationship because they were never in the relationship. Their consciousness isn't really there. It's always on, man, you know, does she like me? Does he like me? What do I need to do to keep her? What do I need to do to keep him? It's always this constant thing, and it's this constant chasing, even in the relationship. And it's always this anxiety in the relationship. It's like, oh my God, are they cheating? Are they not cheating? Oh, are they going to leave? Like, so when do you get to enjoy the relationship when the entire time you're in the relationship, you're worried about the relationship?
Yes. And it goes back to the show that we did the other day with Russell. Shout out to Dapper, the Man Panel show. It was about why do I complain about women, and just being like, oh, now I have to be the provider in the relationship when you never were that. It's like now they're trying to put on a cap and gown to be something in a relationship that they never were before.
Right. And that's why relationships usually end up failing and people end up being frustrated because they get jaded in relationship after relationship because they're trying to find in the person what they can't find in themselves. And it's that they can't do that. So they're trying to look for love through the person instead of loving themselves. Because what happens is that when you love yourself, you don't need the person to love you. See, this is the part that people don't, right? The funny part
talk
is
about it.
Yeah, they think okay, so I say this. You don't actually need love from the person.
Fuck yeah.
You understand? When you love yourself, what happens is that you're not looking for love through the person. The problem is people don't love themselves. They're looking for love through the person. Now, if the person loves you, that's great. But the problem is that they're like, well, I need you to love me so that then I can love myself or then I can see myself as valuable.
Yes.
And that's the problem, is that how are you going to be in a relationship? Imagine you got two people in a relationship. They both don't love themselves. They're looking towards each other to love them, for the person to love them. But then it's like they're constantly in a situation where they can't even love the person because the quote unquote love for the person they have is directly tied to what they feel they need from the person. It's almost like, for example, if I'm a politician, I can't love you as a voter because I need your vote. So I don't really give a shit about you. I give a shit about your vote. So how can I love you if I need your vote? You see what I'm saying? If I need something from you, I can't love you. It's impossible.
It's
Because my
transactional.
interaction is always trying to get something from you.
Yeah, it is. And I remember I was I had a similar I had a specific video that I was talking about the dating scene because I was talking about that, you know, people do like, oh, this dating game is fucked up, this dating game is this and that, but you know, it's not. First of all, I want to point the fuck out there, it's not no fucking game. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a game, but that's not the game that y'all play for the dating game is because it's like it's a transactional, it's a one up. People play on their ego. People want to be more valuable than this person. They want to be like, oh, this is my other half, X, Y, and Z. I don't believe in none of that shit. I don't like when people be like, oh, this is my better half, this is my other half. Yeah, I mean, you can be playful with it, that's cool. But but people really mean that shit because when people get in relationships, they're thinking that this person right here is tied to my value. I got this. I got quote unquote. Check out my words. It's disgusting even saying this. I low key want to throw up. But you know, I got this woman, and you know, she's my better half. I'm so lucky to have this beautiful woman. A lot of guys think like this because they think they're tying their value directly to getting with that beautiful woman, right? They think because I have a hot woman, again, it goes back to the condition of the society. Okay, I got a hot woman. This is gonna make me seem valuable in this world. And there was like this certain thing. I forgot what the fuck it's called, but it's basically talking about how okay. So everything is not what meets the eye, right? Because we can see behind the scenes, but to other people, they can see two people in a monogamous relationship, man, woman, and things may look like they're going well on the surface, but behind the scenes, it probably took that guy 6 months to get with her, probably 4 months to fuck her, and now she decided that they'll be in a relationship. So, goddamn, like when you do your, you know, you say what you say for your dating, but when did you start like just dominating the field? Be like, I'm the leader. I'm gonna take this by the hand. I don't. It's not the woman that decides. I decide.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, you know, as a man, you know, you just have to understand that you create the situations that you're in. And so a lot of times, you know, on the internet, you see a lot of guys complain about women. So like we was talking about on another show, but the complaining about women is directly tied to him not understanding he's a leader. Because if you're a leader, then you know that you're not going to blame the woman because anything that happens in your experience with dealing with a woman only happens based on you allowing that woman into your life. So what I mean by that is you know, it's because some guys might say, oh, well, what if I was walking down the street and some woman, you know, came and slapped me in the face randomly? Most likely that's not what happened. But let's say that did happen, right? In those situations, right? It's not a thing where you need to sit there and now blame women because that happened. What it is that on a whole nother level, because I don't want to get too deep into it, but on a whole nother level, what happens is that each experience you have, you take ownership of the experience, even if you think it's not your fault, because then you get into a mindset of making decisions and thinking twice before you make decisions because you always say, this is my fault if this goes down this way or that way. So what happens is when you get into the mindset of taking ownership of what's going on, then you take ownership of what's going on regardless. So then you start to think differently. So you start to say, you know what? This girl I'm on a date with, she's kind of, you know, she's kind of showing me that she's just like, it seems like she's just here for my money, right? She's not really sexually attracted to me. I don't think, you know, I could tell she's not really vibing with me like that. Now, at that point, he can say, you know what? I'm not going to call her again. We're done, and that's that. So now he's not going to have to deal with that later, and therefore he doesn't have to complain. But on the flip side, what most guys will do, they'll see the woman is just there for the money. They'll continue to see her, try to hook up, try to do all these other things. They'll spend more and more money, and then when they don't get sex, now they want to blame her. But it's like you saw it already. You saw it from the beginning, and you allowed her to have more of your time, have more of your attention, have more of your money. So that's your fault. So this is the thing where a guy needs to understand his position in the situation. You see what I'm saying? Once you understand your position, and on top of that, you love yourself, value yourself, and have confidence, then you don't allow those things to happen. And see, part of the allowing it to happen comes from ego, comes from a feeling of lack, comes from a place of trying to fill the void. Because, like I said, most people, what they're doing is they're dating in a way to try to get validation. So if that guy is like, I could see this chick has red flags, but she's a baddie
She's
though.
a 10.
And right, and I want my boys to see me with her, and I'm trying to hit,
Yes.
right? His
Yes.
ego has taken over, and that's why he's dealing with her. You see what I'm saying? So it becomes where it's not necessarily he wants her, but he wants her because of what she represents and what that would mean
Yes.
for his ego. And that's where people mess up. So a lot of times, and then what happens is that when that falls by the wayside, he's bitter now. He's upset. Oh, women are this way, women are that way, and
It's
that causes
connected. Yeah.
more mistakes. Right? He's going to make more and more mistakes. He's going to feel a certain type of way dealing with women. He's going to have a negative attitude towards women because he's been leading with his ego instead of understanding he's valuable already. He doesn't need that girl to get validation, and then he can finally actually get a situation that is right for him. And that's the problem with a lot of people, is that most people are in relationships that are not right for them. And the reason why it's not right for them is because they're in a situation trying to get validation through the situation. If you're trying to get validation through your dating, that person and that situation is not right for you. And what's going to happen is that you're damaging your mental, because you're constantly putting yourself through these situations where the cycle is going to continue. Because if that thing's not going to work out, then you're going to feel worse about yourself. Then you're going to find someone else to try to get validation. Then that's not going to work out. You're going to feel even worse about yourself. You're going to find somebody else
Just
to
digging
try
your
to. You see what I
own
mean?
hole. Yeah.
Oh, right. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? It's terrible.
And people are addicted to that. You know, I think a lot of people are addicted to those type of habits that they do, self-destructive habits, putting themselves deep into the hole. And you know, when it comes to those situations with the relationship, and you know, a big part about it is I believe that's why looks, money, and status is a thing. And I'm not saying that looks, money, and status isn't wrong, but what I mean by that is that I think you should obtain those things for yourself.
Right.
You know, like don't you should.
Right.
But what they do is try to project it to be like, let's do these things to get the hoes. You know what I mean? Like, let's, you know, and that ties into something I wanted to ask you is when did you realize looks didn't matter? When did you be like, I know, because I know my experience, man. I look bummy as fuck when I was fucking on hoes. But like, when did you be like, damn, like I don't like my looks don't matter. Obviously, that doesn't mean be, you know, have bad hygiene, but just when did you see that point?
Right. So basically, when I say looks don't matter, a lot of people get it confused. I think when I say looks don't matter, I'm
Talk about
also saying that looks mattering isn't true. So in my book, Looks Don't Matter, I actually say that in the first chapter. I talk about how looks matter. And so the problem is the reason why I say looks don't matter is because most guys, in order for them to step up their game and become better in the dating game, they have to understand that they can't coast on their looks, because looks always surface level. So the surface level has its part where it's like, okay, well, she's attracted to the way you look, she's physically attractive, which catches the eye, so forth and so on. The problem is that when you deal with relationships surface level, right? What happens is you really get nowhere, because it's really just the surface. So the surface is just it's the smaller portion of the entire thing. So the thing is that what happens is if a woman thinks you look good, right? And she's looking in your direction because you're physically pleasing to her. What happens is, let's say you're going to talk to her, whatever it is like that. Everything else after that is the more important thing, because if everything else after that doesn't stick, then it doesn't matter that you look good. You see what I'm saying? So your looks don't matter. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is that you have a lot of guys out there who are good looking dudes who are struggling. You have a lot of guys out there, like I have clients if y'all saw some of my clients, you would think they trolling because these dudes are tall with the muscles and all that other shit, and they're still having trouble. So what happens is that I'm not saying that you being good looking is not going to help with a woman being attracted to you. What I'm saying is that overall, when I say looks don't matter, what I'm saying is that you can't post on that, because what happens is that there's other things that are needed to maintain. And when I say maintain, that can be anything from hooking up with a girl that night. It could be from that even being in a long-term relationship with a woman. So what I'm saying is that you're never going to get into a relationship where a girl is just going to stare at you all day like this. Like she's going to be just looking, oh my God, you look so good. Oh my God, you look so good.
Right,
Like
right,
that's
right, right,
how
right.
work.
That
So
even that
there's
ego.
yes. Like this.
Yes. Nah, that's fucking monumental. I want to take a minute right now because we got 7 minutes left until we end the live. But for the meantime, I want to acknowledge the viewers. Shout out to the motherfuckers that's in the building.
Yeah,
Y'all already know what we do. Evolutionary Talks. We got Mr. Lucario. Go ahead and drop some motherfucking stars and some fire signs. We in this bitch for real. Good fucking morning. Get this game. Get this wisdom. So I wanted to also tie that into everything that you're talking about in the relationships is how dating a woman is a reflection of how you love yourself. I think it was something you were speaking on. It was prevalent. It was how dating the woman you want is a reflection of love yourself. Starts pouring into the woman. And why do you think that is a reflection? When did you acknowledge that part of a reflection being to you?
Yeah. So the thing is that how you allow certain situations shows how you view yourself. Meaning that, I always use the example of sometimes you go in a person's house and they tell you to take off your shoes before you walk on the carpet or something because they value the carpet. They don't want to get it dirty with your shoes. So they tell you this before you on the carpet. Same thing with your relationships. You basically say, hey, this is the standard. This is how I want it. And if it's not fucking with you. And so, right. So what happens is because certain people don't, if you don't love yourself, you're going to allow disrespect. And the reason why you allow disrespect is because you feel you deserve the disrespect, and you feel like you need to prove yourself to the person so that they can start to respect you. So meaning that if you're so for example, let's say a guy is trying to set a date with a girl or go out with the girl, and he sets a date, she flakes, and then he's like, all right, well, let's try it again next week. Next week comes, she flakes. So she already flaked on him twice, and he's still trying to get at her. Now, the reason why he's still trying to get at her is because he wants to date her so that he can feel good about himself. But the reason why he doesn't feel good about himself is because he's allowing her to flake and continuing to deal with her. But he feels he deserves that because he feels like he's not good enough already. So subconsciously, he's like, well, it makes sense for her to flake on me because I'm not really all that anyway. And hopefully, if I keep trying, then maybe she'll give me a chance. And then once she gives me a chance, then I will feel better about myself, and therefore I can actually see myself as valuable. So what happens is that a lot of times people will chase these things, and men and women both do this. They'll chase people because they hope if I catch the person, then that will prove to myself that, you see what I'm saying? Because I already don't think I'm worthy. I already don't think I'm all that. So what happens is that the disrespect is normal. It's like, oh well, yeah, I get that she wouldn't want to see me, but I'm hoping she'll give me a chance. And it's that sort of mind frame that makes these guys continue to do that nonsense.
It's like holding the cheese, or like on a treadmill. That picture on the treadmill chasing the money or some shit like that. It's like that. It's like hopefully I will obtain this rather than I had this conversation last night. It's like hopefully I will obtain something in order so I can have it rather than putting yourself in the position, not even trying to, but being like I am the thing that they want. I already am. That ties into what you were talking about with just the value, because the key thing I want to bring to everyone's attention right now, viewing this, because we got a couple minutes left, is that everything ties into who you are, your value for you, what you have going on, your mindset, your shift, your actions, everything. You know what I mean? And everybody is so based on grabbing things externally and thinking this makes me rather than you make it. Because ultimately you're the one creating this in your mind thinking that this trophy is the biggest thing ever, when
Right.
really you doing what you're doing, your thought to take that action was the trophy, but you're
Right.
making your that the trophy, the material, the biggest motherfucking thing, which
Right.
is not how it
And
goes.
also check this out.
Let's fucking
This
talk.
how crazy. The you gotta understand like attracts like, right? So what happens is
Yes.
in this same scenario, check this out.
Yeah.
The girl who's flaking twice on the
Yeah.
guy is the same exact person as the guy. Because the reason why she's flaking
Oh,
on
talk
him,
about it.
right? The reason why she's flaking on him is because she's not really interested in him.
Yes.
And so but you gotta ask yourself, why would a girl deal with a guy who she's not really interested in? What she's doing is she's using him to fill her ego.
Yeah.
Because she
Yo.
but see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So she's using him to make herself feel better, and he's trying to make himself feel better by trying to get her.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Two
Yes.
people who are at the same level, right, doing that thing. So this is what I'm saying, where
It's
a lot
connected.
of times what
Oh
happens,
my God.
right? So your insecurity is connected to her insecurity.
Yes.
And that's why that situation is happening like that. You see what I'm saying?
Oh my God, man. This is fuck Lucario. I know we gotta go and everything.
So guys, that's why I tell guys you gotta be careful, because some of this is subconscious, so you might not even realize that this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if I'm dealing with a girl, she flakes on me, it sets off an alarm. Like, wait a second, nah, we can't. Like, there was times where, for example, I would be trying to set a date with a girl, and I would be on Tinder. I'd be like, hey, let's meet tonight at this time, this place, whatever. And usually, when you're making plans, the person will like respond back and go back and forth until the plan is made. Right. So there was a time where I remember this one girl. I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, hey, what are you up to tonight? I was like, I'm chilling, but let's go get a drink.
Yeah.
She said, oh yeah, that sounds cool. So I said, hey, can you meet me at this place at this time? Right. So left me on red. Then she hits me up like a day and a half later.
Hell.
Talking about, hey, good morning, what up? I just didn't respond. Now, what happened is I'm saying to myself, why would I deal with a woman who ignored what I was saying when we were setting something up, and then now want to hit me up after the fact? You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, because I love myself, I'm not going to allow myself to be in a situation where I'm dealing with somebody who's showing that level of disrespect, because I respect myself enough not to do it. If I didn't respect myself, then I would continue to deal with her.
Yes.
But the reason why she's doing that type of stuff is because she's not really that interested. But the reason why she's dealing with a person who she's probably not interested in is because she's trying to use the guy to big up her own ego. And that's why I say, where a lot of times when guys are dealing with attention whores, if you're dealing with an attention whore, your insecurity is directly correlated to her insecurity. She's dealing with you because you're just attention to boost her ego. You're dealing with her because you're trying to get her for validation. That's how it works.
Y'all so fucking fire signs. Holy shit. Cause dude, this is such a monumental conversation, because everything from the beginning tied down to everything right here into the end. Even just everything is connected. Everything is connected. And fuck, yo, Lucario, I could talk to you like about 1,000 years straight. Cause there's so many things like there was a lot of points that I still wanted to speak on, but you know, time is prevalent and time is important, and we got things to do and everything. So for those, god damn it, that was such a, I gotta leave off on that note. If not, I'm gonna talk about this for like 3 fucking hours on this fucking live. We just gonna go back and forth having this conversation. But you know, for those who don't know, and you know, just plug in the joint, just let them know, because I'm blown away.
Yep. So first of all, shout out to you. Appreciate you having me on here. And guys, if you want to hit me up, you know, on the Instagram, Real Mr. Lucario, and badboymembership.com, masculineidentitymembership.com, you know what I'm saying, and MrLucario.com. So yeah, check me out there.
Yeah, man, y'all make sure y'all tap in with Mr. Lucario. This is Evolutionary Talks with Young Izzy. Hopefully we can do another conversation, because goddamn, this was like a runaway train. It was an unstoppable combo. It was great. It's monumental. So shout out to those. Remember, wait, I'm gonna say it for you. The truth is inside you.
Back. Yeah.
Nah, straight, no, and that's real. The value is there. Make sure y'all stay level-headed. Keep doing what y'all doing. Y'all need coaching. Hit up Mr. Lucario. You want to evolve? You know what I'm saying? Hit both of us up. Until next time. Peace. Thank you for coming again.